Whether you're looking for some exhilarating fun or just want to relax and unwind, Norwegian Joy has been designed to appeal to a broad range of ages and interests. From adrenaline-pumping activities to serene spots for relaxation to dedicated spaces for little ones to have fun and meet new friends, there's something on board for just about everyone. It's time to see if you think Norwegian Joy's amenities will bring you joy on your next cruise. Hi, I'm Tiffany from Destination for Vacation. Thanks for joining me. In this video, we'll take a tour of Norwegian Joy, both her public spaces, as well as a typical club balcony suite cabin, to help you determine if she's the right ship for your next vacation. In order to understand some of the little quirks you might find aboard this ship, it's helpful to know a little bit about her history. She's the 15th ship in Norwegian Cruise Line's holdings and the first in the company's history to be positioned full-time on the West Coast, primarily sailing to Alaska, the Mexican Riviera, and the Panama Canal. Her story can be traced back to October 2012, when Norwegian Cruise Line announced that it was ordering the first Breakaway Plus class ships. This new class was designed to be even larger than those of the previous Breakaway class, which included Norwegian Getaway and Norwegian Breakaway. It would not only accommodate more guests, but also allow for some very innovative onboard amenities for the time, like laser tag and a go-kart track. The construction of the first two ships in this class cost about $1.8 billion, and a naming contest was held to generate public excitement for their upcoming launches. The two winning names? Norwegian Escape, which was used to name the first ship in the class, and Norwegian Bliss. That's right. For a brief moment in time, what we now know as Norwegian Joy was actually named Norwegian Bliss, as she was the second ship built in the Breakaway Plus class. But she never actually sailed under that name. While she was being built in Germany, plans for her use pivoted. In 2015, Norwegian decided to invest in what the company felt would soon be the world's second largest cruise market, China. So a decision was made to deploy her there, and she would no longer be named Norwegian Bliss. Instead, after working with local experts on the subtleties of Chinese culture, Norwegian Cruise Line revealed that the ship would be named Norwegian Joy, complemented by a Chinese name, with the promise that guests would experience paradise on the sea. The name Norwegian Bliss would be transferred over to the third ship in the Breakaway Plus class. This was all part of an ambitious plan to customize the vessel to cater specifically to Chinese travelers, blending the comfort and luxury of Norwegian's typical offerings with characteristics that resonated with Chinese culture and preferences. A karaoke lounge, expanded luxury retail space, 2 tea houses, an upscale one and an everyday one, a Korean-style hot pot restaurant, a serene outdoor garden space, a galaxy pavilion with an interactive video wall for the little ones, as well as virtual reality experiences and futuristic bumper cars. Add to that lots of connecting staterooms to accommodate multi-generational family vacations, which is the norm in China, and you had, what the designers thought, a surefire success for an underserved market. Special commemorative coins featuring the ship were created, and on March 31st, 2015, at a Shanghai temple, a traditional prayer and pledge ceremony to the Chinese goddess of the sea, Mazu, was held to bring blessings to the coins, the ship, and all who would sail on her. 1 year later, as her German shipbuilder laid Joy's keel, one of the blessed coins was inserted, where it remains to this day. Norwegian ships are known for their distinctive hull art, and Joy's is no exception. Designed by famed Chinese artist Tan Ping, it features a phoenix, an iconic bird that represents beauty and good luck in Chinese culture, as the bow's focal point. The modernistic design features flowing lines that convey forward movement, with the colors of red and yellow prominently featured. In China, red signifies joy, yellow represents grandeur, and blue signifies the sea. On April 27, 2017, Norwegian Joy was delivered to Norwegian Cruise Line. After a grand inaugural event featuring a concert by the ship's godfather, Chinese pop superstar Wang Lihong, Joy began her sailing season in China, operating primarily from her home base in Shanghai and Tianjin. Cruises were mostly 4- and 5-day sailings with a one-port stop in Japan. But just 1 year later, Norwegian Joy's journey took another turn. After her sister ship, Norwegian Bliss, became the most successful ship in the company's 51-year history due to high demand for Alaska sailings, the company decided to redeploy Norwegian Joy to the United States to offer Alaskan voyages along with Bliss, starting in 2019. But to do this, the ship's features would have to be adjusted to accommodate the tastes of a mostly American cruising market. So in March of 2019, the ship underwent a 1-month, $50 million dry dock refurbishment in Singapore to make her more appealing to a Western audience and align her amenities to what was offered on the highly successful Norwegian Bliss. While the outdoor racetrack and laser tag course were kept, the Zen Garden was replaced by an outdoor pool deck. The Korean hot pot restaurant and the tea houses were removed, with the local and the district brew house installed. In the Galaxy Pavilion, the bumper cars were out, but the virtual reality games remained. Some of the ship's expanded retail space was removed to add a Starbucks and a mojito bar. Some cabins on Deck 15 were also removed to add some space to the ship's observation lounge. And in May 2019, Norwegian Joy set sail from Seattle on her maiden call to Alaska. But some passengers reported that the ship still felt a little off. And based on my sailing with her in 2019, I would agree. The Galaxy VR Pavilion was placed in the same location as the thermal spa on the Bliss. This area has a huge expanse of windows, allowing you to look out and admire the spectacular views. That's great when you're relaxing on heated tile loungers in the thermal spa. But instead of taking advantage of these views, VR machines were positioned so they blocked most of them. Even when the windows weren't blocked, the views were pretty much unnoticed because guests were often wearing headsets, playing the games. But fortunately, at least in my opinion, that issue was remedied when Joy underwent a major 19-day refurbishment in January 2024. The Galaxy Pavilion was completely removed, with the thermal spa rightfully reclaiming its space. Newly expanded suites were added to the Haven. 24 more balcony cabins were added back in to replace part of the portside observation lounge. The laser tag course was removed to expand Vibe Beach Club, and all cabins were given a refresh. You now have a ship that has something for just about everyone, so let's take a tour. We'll start on decks 19 and 20 and work our way down. Welcome to the Vibe Beach Club, an adults-only oasis. Designed as a more private and tranquil alternative to the pool deck, guests can indulge in a little sunbathing while enjoying the stunning vistas. Unwind with a cocktail in one of the 2 hot tubs, or just cozy up in a shaded cabana with a good book. Vibe Beach Club passes are available for purchase prior to your sailing. At the time of this recording, a 7-day pass cost $259 per person, and day passes were not available. Just next door, passengers in the Haven Suites can enjoy their own private courtyard sun deck. Billed as the ultimate cruise experience, Norwegian offers the Haven for those looking for the most luxurious and spacious accommodations on board. The Haven is the name for the suites and villas complex that offers a cruise within a cruise concept with its own pool, lounge, and restaurant. The Haven's elegant interiors and personalized butler service are designed to provide a more upscale and private cruising experience so you can get away from the crowds and enjoy a little serenity. While some suites are centered around a 2-story courtyard area that features a private pool, jacuzzi, and sun deck, other Haven cabins are interspaced on decks 9 through 15. In this video, we won't be visiting the Haven suites, nor each type of cabin that's available on board Norwegian Joy beyond the club balcony suite cabin that I personally booked because, quite honestly, I didn't think I could top the quality of the cabin tour videos recorded by Hard Travel, which is a travel agency with its own YouTube channel. This mention is not an endorsement, as I've not done business yet with the company, but their YouTube channel is my go-to resource when I'm looking to make reservations on a new ship and want to see the cabin category that I'm considering. I've linked Hard Travel's channel in the notes below in the event that you'd like to learn a little bit more about Joy's cabins and the Haven suites. You don't have to purchase a Vibe Beach Club pass or secure a Haven suite to get your sun on in a more secluded setting. Walk around on decks 18 and 19 and you'll find a few quiet spaces with standard sun loungers to soak in some vitamin D at no extra charge. One is right outside the entry door to the Vibe Beach Club. Another option might be to head on over to deck 18 aft, the back of the ship, where you'll find another small secluded deck area, as well as the stairs leading to the ship's mini-putt golf course. Or maybe it's time to get that adrenaline pumping. Welcome to the Joy Speedway, a go-kart track that spans decks 18 and 19 on the ship. With speeds of up to 30 miles per hour, hairpin turns, and stretches of straightaways, you'll be able to bring out your inner Mario Andretti, all while enjoying breathtaking views of the ocean. Single riders typically complete about 8 laps per session, with each session costing about $15. If you're really feeling the need for speed at sea, you can purchase the Ultimate Speedway package, which will set you back $199 for a 7-day sailing. Note that there are height and weight restrictions to ride the go-karts. Younger passengers who don't yet meet the height requirement to drive by themselves can still join in on the fun by riding with an adult during the double rider sessions. These are offered at set times each day, which are always published in the ship's onboard newsletter, the Freestyle Daily. By now, you've probably worked up an appetite. So why not walk down just a few steps to deck 17 and grab a bite to eat at the American Diner? Specializing in juicy burgers, you'll find a wide array of dishes to satisfy those sweet and salty cravings while sitting in a replica back seat of a classic American muscle car. Start off with nachos. Grab a bowl of chicken chili. Or keep it on the healthy side with a Greek salad. This complimentary dining option offers home-style classics like chicken pot pie and meatloaf, as well as handhelds like barbecue pork sliders and a crispy fish sandwich. But the real standout here is the burgers. I found the meat patties of most burgers on a cruise ship to be dry and pretty flavorless, so I was pleasantly surprised with the quality of the meat in the American Diner's burgers, and ours were cooked perfectly each time we went. Of course, my family had to take it to the next level and request double patties and double cheese because, well, you just never know when your next meal will be on a cruise ship. Milkshakes are also on the menu, but you'll have to pay for them. Currently, that price is $7. All right, Pulp Fiction fans, I know what you're thinking, but I just had to do it, for the sake of conducting research for this video. Belly's full, it's time to work off those calories. Now, the more disciplined amongst us would probably head just across the way to Pulse Fitness Center, where you'll find a wide array of cardio and weight machines, as well as free weights and fitness classes. Or perhaps a brisk walk along the track, where you'll have great views of the passing scenery on one side, as well as views of the pool deck below and the water slides. For those of you who, like me, grow exhausted seeing how many laps it takes to just get in 1 mile on the track, make a detour during your first lap to Spice H2O and let the warm jets from the expansive hot tub soothe your aching muscles from that half lap you just labored over. There's no charge for this adults-only oasis. Earlier, I had mentioned that Norwegian Joy has a few quirks compared to her sister ships because of her original China market design. Well, here's one of those quirks. About half of Spice H2O is shaded, with her expansive hot tub and bar area completely covered by an overhang. This is a leftover from her original design, and there are no smaller hot tubs stationed at each corner to look out over the ocean, as there are on her sister ships. In fact, the open deck area is limited in size, so it doesn't host as many parties and events on Joy as it typically does on other ships. During our cruise, it was used only twice for organized after-hour events. Once for an awesome 80s party, and the other time for a Latin fiesta caliente. More popular parties have been shifted to the midship pool deck area, so an aft balcony cabin location on board Joy may be a little quieter at night compared to the same location on other Norwegian ships. If you're seeking a more tranquil and rejuvenating environment, then head on down to Deck 16, where you'll find one of the prettiest and largest thermal spas at sea. Its design emphasizes a mixture of hot and cold therapies, with periods of relaxation in between. Detoxify in the steam room. Reinvigorate in the polar bear cold plunge. My term, not theirs. Then relax in the Himalayan salt room. Repeat that process. Hot, cold, relax. The snow room on some of Norwegian's other ships is kind of like a walk-in freezer. It's a fun novelty, but not a space where you particularly want to spend more than a minute or two in. I really liked this one because it's a lot more gentle to the senses. You can comfortably relax in this room for long periods of time and just chill out. Then it's time to make your way to the loungers and admire the view. These loungers are heated, but you also have other options to just laze about and daydream. If you want the ultimate in relaxation, try these unique Four Senses loungers, which have been designed for a meditative experience. With a warm, softly vibrating surface, each offers a 25-minute cycle of sounds and aromatherapy. At least, that's what I read. Not surprisingly, no one seemed to want to give them up during the first day's spa tour, so I'll just have to take that as a sign of success. You'll find another one of Norwegian Joy's quirks within this thermal spa. Because it was built into the space in 2024 to replace the virtual reality Galaxy Pavilion, it doesn't have a hydrotherapy pool like many other thermal spas. This is pretty understandable, given how hard it would be to retrofit a heavy pool with complex plumbing and electrical features into the ship's existing scaffolding and support structures. But it's still a pretty big loss in terms of the overall thermal spa experience, at least in my opinion. However, the spa does have a unique rainfall ritual and pebble walk. Here, guests walk through a series of automated showers, transitioning from a deeply relaxing hot experience to a revitalizing cold one, and then finish off with a soothing foot massage as they walk over the pebble path. For my sailing, 7-day thermal spa passes were sold for $299, with no option to buy a day pass. On some cruise lines, you're granted thermal spa access before or after a purchased facial or massage, but that's not the case on Joy. The only way to gain entry is to purchase a dedicated thermal spa pass for the entire voyage. Given the ship's size, this is probably meant to prevent overcrowding and keep the experience enjoyable for guests. Passengers will find plenty of treatment choices in the Mandara Spa, including coconut, seaweed, aroma stone, bamboo, and Thai herbal therapy massages. Along with your more typical Swedish massages, facials, manicures, and pedicures. Acupuncture treatments are also available. The ship's full-service beauty salon and men's barbershop are just steps away. And here we come to another little quirk about the ship. A video arcade and the Teens Entourage Club are placed right in between the thermal spa and Mandara Spa's treatment rooms. At first glance, this location seems very odd, but when you remember that the thermal suite used to be the giant VR Galaxy Pavilion, it makes perfect sense. Passengers aged 13 to 17 are the exclusive members of the ship's Entourage Club, a hangout with comfortable seating areas, video games, a foosball table, and a lounge area for teens to connect and socialize. When the club is open, teens are welcome to come and go as they please. To enter the Entourage Club, you must first walk through the ship's video arcade, which I'm sure is no accident. Here, guests of all ages can immerse themselves in contemporary video games, compete with friends in multiplayer challenges, or just show off their skills. Guests can pay on a per-game basis or purchase the Ultimate Arcade Package, which allows unlimited play on select games for $25 per day. Deck 15 is also the place to be on sunny days, with midship hosting all things aqua. Little ones can splash around in their own dedicated aqua park or play in the nearby pool. The deck also hosts 2 hot tubs, an adults-only pool, and a great view of the ship's water slides. Choose to ride single or double in the Aqua Racer, or get the adrenaline really pumping with the Ocean Loops. After experiencing an exhilarating, or some might say, terrifying drop, you'll be treated to stunning views while being suspended directly over the ocean. Screaming as you plunge down the slide is optional, but pretty common. By now, it's probably been at least a good hour since you last ate, so continue walking a bit forward to the Garden Cafe, the ship's complimentary buffet which serves breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It offers the same types of stations as are found on most buffets: comfort foods, a carving station, burgers, Asian, pasta, pizza, and a salad bar. My favorite? The Indian food station. Joy's is a little larger than on some of Norwegian's other ships, and each of the Indian dishes we had throughout the cruise were consistently well prepared. Sadly, I was told there would be no paratha for the entire cruise, which has always been such a standout at the Garden Cafe and one of our absolute favorites. What were you thinking, buffet manager? At night, you'll also find a station on one side of the buffet that makes crepes to order. Or if ice cream is more your style, you'll not only find self-service soft-serve machines, but also a selection of hand-scooped ice creams and sorbets. Hello, Rum Raisin. How I've missed you. Some tables at the Garden Cafe look down to Deck 15's Observation Lounge, which is my favorite spot on board Norwegian Joy. Here you'll find ample room to cozy up with a good book, share a little camaraderie, or just stare out and wonder at what's beyond. At different times throughout the day, small pastries and snacks are served, and there's a full bar. Here, you'll find the first of the ship's 2 Starbucks locations, and you can use your Starbucks app to pay for that venti, half-calf, extra-hot almond milk double-shot caramel macchiato. Just note that while you'll earn stars with each purchase, you can't redeem any of your stars on board. Another popular option is to purchase the unlimited Starbucks package, which includes all of their made-to-order drinks at a cost of $19.80 per day, including gratuities. Currently, it's only available for adult passengers, and food and pre-packaged beverages are not included. May I pause now just for a few seconds with a request? If you've enjoyed watching this video so far, then I'd be grateful if you would consider subscribing to Destination for Vacations channel. As a newer channel, it really does help to increase visibility for each new video posted, and it lets me know if I'm on the right track with my video topics. You can simply click on the subscribe button on the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. Thanks for your consideration. The remainder of Deck 15 is reserved for cabins, as are Decks 9 through 14, with the exception of the Medical Center, which is located on Deck 13. So we'll resume our tour on Deck 8. This is where you'll find the Waterfront District, which offers a quarter-mile promenade with outdoor seating space for the deck's various bars and eateries. 5 of the ship's onboard restaurants are also found on Deck 8, so let's check them out. One of the more popular choices is Cagney's, a specialty dining restaurant that embodies the essence of a classic American steakhouse. As a specialty dining restaurant, you'll pay extra to dine here unless you have the More at Sea package. Start with the colossal shrimp cocktail, or perhaps a delicate crab cake. Classic wedge salads are also popular. But the real standouts here are the steaks and chops. We opted for the succulent ribeye with house garlic butter, accompanied by sautéed mushrooms and truffled mashed potatoes. The menu includes different cuts of beef, but lamb and pork chops are also available, as well as a few fish and vegetarian options. And don't forget to top off the evening with dessert, like this caramel butterscotch cheesecake or a sinful 7-layer chocolate cake. Don't worry, you can always work off those calories later on tonight by taking the stairs up when you go for your late night snack at the buffet. For most of the specialty dining restaurants, it's best to make advance reservations prior to your sailing so you can get a seat, especially at Cagney's, as this is one of the most popular specialty dining venues on board. But don't worry if you don't see any availability when you try to book online prior to your cruise. Just stop by the dining reservations area as soon as you board the ship. For our sailing, we were directed to the inside of Teppanyaki restaurant, located deck 6, midship, where a reservations representative assisted us in securing a table at Cagney's for our preferred day and time. She was also able to easily adjust the times for 2 of our other reservations. Just outside Cagney's Steakhouse, you'll find the A-List Bar, a great place to stop off for a pre-dinner cocktail while you wait for your table. Across the way is another specialty dining option, the ship's contemporary French restaurant, Le Bistro. With its elegant ambiance and soft lighting, this is the perfect setting for romantic dinners or simply indulging in sumptuous flavors against the backdrop of the ocean. I enjoyed the steak tartare as my appetizer, and then the filet mignon as my entree. Rare, of course. We found the French onion soup to be a bit underwhelming on this sailing. For dessert, we valiantly tried to keep a straight face when our server brought this unfortunately shaped chocolate dessert to our table, but we eventually lost the battle. It was good, but we still joke about it to this day. I enjoyed this floating meringue instead. Le Bistro has consistently been a hit in our books across all of the ships we've sailed on that have had it on board. And I was pleasantly surprised to see that Norwegian has wisely removed the $15 filet mignon upcharge that we had encountered when we last dined at Le Bistro on board Norwegian Getaway. Thank you, Norwegian. As you exit Le Bistro and Cagney's Steakhouse, you'll soon reach the shopping area, which hosts trade winds, Tide's Boutique Jewelry Store, and Sandbar. Now you're at 678 Ocean Place, which is the ship's stunning atrium that spans 3 floors midship. Deck 6, Deck 7, Deck 8. Thus, 678 Ocean Place. This is the ship's entertainment hub with lounges, bars, restaurants, and shops, each floor offering something a little different to explore. Dominated by a brilliantly lit chandelier with changing color patterns, as well as sleek, floating glass stairways, this area feels open, airy, and elegant. Here, you'll find the Cavern Club. During the day, the space is used for your typical cruise seminars on wristwatches and spa products. But at night, it's all about the live music. The club pays tribute to the legendary nightclub considered to be the birthplace of the Beatles. Each night of our cruise had a different Fab Four theme, from Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band to Abbey Road, right up every Beatlemaniac's alley. if you like a little Latin spice in your music, Norwegian's got you covered. Just head directly across the way to Sugarcane Mojito Bar, which offers a good selection of mojitos. Or grab a different rum-based drink to accompany those rumba moves on the dance floor. If wine is your drink of choice, then walk a few steps further and you'll reach the Cellars, which offers a wide selection of unique vintages by the glass. Just behind this is another specialty dining restaurant, Ocean Blue, which features a relaxed atmosphere perfect for seafood lovers and anyone looking to experience the bounty of the sea. During the day, wine tasting classes are held here. In the evenings, large windows provide stunning views of the sea, making each meal a visual feast as well. The next specialty dining restaurant on Deck 8 is just across the way from Ocean Blue. It's La Cucina, specializing in Italian cuisine with a modern twist. Warm colors, wooden accents, and soft lighting are designed to evoke the feeling of dining in a welcoming Italian home. Feast on a starter of spaghetti carbonara, which we found to be excellent, and nibble on fresh baked bread while you wait for your next course. Here, the main menu ranges from pastas, including lasagna, to braised and grilled meats. Each dish we had was beautifully plated. This was the first time we had tried La Cucina, as I had read mixed reviews about it over the years, and it was a bit of a hit and miss. I loved the atmosphere. The spaghetti carbonara, bread, and panna cotta, or panna cotta if you're Italian, were big hits at our table. Unfortunately, we weren't fans of the other dishes we tried, including the mains. They looked great, but the flavors were bland and my filet was overcooked. So we'd probably choose a different specialty restaurant the next time we're on board a Norwegian cruise ship. After dinner, cigar aficionados can stop by the Humidor Cigar Lounge. Designed with sophistication and comfort in mind, this dedicated space presents an inviting atmosphere perfect for relaxing with a fine cigar and enjoying conversations with fellow cigar enthusiasts. For those passengers seeking to try out some new flavors, head on over to Food Republic, another specialty dining option. With claims of taking guests on a global culinary journey, the menu presents a selection of small plates that showcase mostly Asian and Latin American flavors. Guests are encouraged to order multiple dishes to sample and share, which is perfect for those wanting to try new flavors. The pork belly bao buns, which we had devoured before I remembered to take a picture, were the true standouts here. While you can use Food Republic as one of your specialty dining options, you're limited in the number of dishes you can order with the plan. When we priced out what we wanted to order compared to what we paid for the specialty dining voucher, we determined it wasn't cost-effective to use it at Food Republic. We'd find better value paying a la carte for the dishes we wanted to order, and then use our specialty dining voucher at a different restaurant. Our last stop on Deck 8 is the District Brew House, which offers a selection of over 24 different beers on draft, as well as over 50 kinds of bottled beers, featuring both well-known labels and more exclusive craft offerings. With its comfortable seating and floor-to-ceiling windows with panoramic views, this is mostly a quiet little nook during the day until it opens at 2 p.m. on sea days and 4 p.m. on port days. I'm not a big beer drinker, but this is one of my favorite bars on board because it's a bit tucked away, so many passengers don't even know about it. In the evenings, that means you can usually find a seat to enjoy a raucous sing-along of Sweet Caroline and other favorites the guests request, played by the bar's resident piano player. Typically, the District Brew House also offers a beer tasting seminar on one of the sea days. For those of you who prefer to leave the singing to the professionals, head downstairs to the Joy Theater, which can be found on Deck 7 forward. At night, the theater offers impressive productions, such as the spectacular show Elements, which showcases earth, wind, fire, and water through a captivating blend of magic, aerial acrobatics, music, and dance. Seriously, don't miss it. You'll want to reserve seats for this show, which are free, prior to the sailing because it typically sells out. If you're planning on watching one of the evening theater production shows that don't require advance ticketing, I'd highly recommend making your way to the theater 30 minutes in advance. Don't try to pop in 5 minutes before the show starts because you'll probably be turned away. While they do allow some guests to stand in the back, we learned the hard way that these spaces often fill up even as much as 15 minutes before a show starts. Or maybe you want to be part of an interactive game show that brings the iconic Wheel of Fortune TV experience to life. Here, for a fee that ranges between $25 and $50, depending on which option you choose, you can try to solve puzzles for prizes along with contestants on the stage, or you can be a spectator for free. It's probably about time for your 5th meal of the day, so head on over to the Local, a complimentary dining option that features pub-style favorites like chicken wings, fish and chips, and daily specials like prime rib. Surrounding the ship's open atrium on 3 sides, it's a popular place to hang out and watch the games, performances, and contests on the deck below. There's a small space nearby for additional arcade games and claw machines that would keep the kids busy as you finish watching the big game on the Local's TVs. A few steps away is Norwegian Joy's large casino, which surrounds the atrium at 678 Ocean Place. From classic table games like blackjack and craps to an array of modern slot machines, there are plenty of choices to test your luck. The majority of the casino is non-smoking. However, there is a glass-enclosed area designated for players who wish to smoke. The Manhattan Dining Room, the first of the ship's 3 main complimentary dining venues, is located on Deck 7 aft, featuring a sophisticated Art Deco-inspired design and stunning ocean views. It's one of the more popular complimentary dining options aboard the ship. Unlike the Manhattan Room found on some of Norwegian's other ships, Joy's version does not include a dance floor. I always found that the live music and entertainment added a unique charm to the venue on other ships, so I was hopeful that Norwegian would reinstate the concept during the recent refurbishments. Unfortunately, it was not meant to be. Descend to Deck 6 and you'll find a small space in between the stairs that display the unique plaques that were gifted to Norwegian Joy after her maiden visit to those ports. These are always interesting to read, and it's fun to find your favorite designs. Here, you'll also find the ship's model. Just steps away, you'll find the other 2 complimentary dining rooms, Taste and Savor. Located across from one another, these restaurants share the same kitchen, but are designed as 2 spaces to provide a more intimate dining experience. The menu is the same across all of Joy's complimentary dining rooms. So it's really just a matter of making a selection based on the ambiance you like best, the wait time to be seated, and your satisfaction with the level of service provided. Grab a cocktail at Mixed Bar, located in between Taste and Savor, or walk a bit further to Malting's Whiskey Bar, which features a wide variety of whiskeys and bourbons that you can enjoy in a comfortable, low-key setting. It's my go-to place for a Woodford Old Fashioned. Usually on one of the sea days, a whiskey tasting event is offered here, which is a fun way to learn a little bit more about this popular spirit. Grab a pre-dinner cocktail here and then walk across to Teppanyaki, Norwegian's Japanese-style hibachi restaurant. Here you'll get dinner and a show as your personal chef entertains you with sing-along serenades, corny jokes, and plenty of showmanship. We book teppanyaki on pretty much every cruise we take with Norwegian because it's one of our favorite restaurants at sea across all cruise lines. You'll start with miso soup and a seaweed salad. Then you'll feast on delicious garlic fried rice as your chef prepares your vegetables and chosen protein: steak, chicken, shrimp, scallops, calamari, or tofu. While the food has always been tasty, we had a particularly fun chef this time around, Yoga, who seasoned everything perfectly. I went with my usual garlicky shrimp and scallops, which were outstanding. Dessert is a choice between green tea cake or fruit sashimi. Unfortunately, teppanyaki has not been spared by Norwegian's cost-cutting. Filet used to be offered as one of the steak choices, which worked well given the cooking method. It's always been a favorite of our family. Now, there's no choice. It's solely New York strip, and we weren't fans at all. After dinner, head next door to The Social, a lively venue that showcases a diverse lineup of stand-up comedians from the Levity Entertainment Group. During our cruise, 2 shows were usually offered each night at no charge. The first show at 7 o'clock welcomed guests of all ages, while the 9 o'clock performance was strictly 18 and older. Continuing on, you'll reach the ship's second atrium, which spans decks 6 and 7. The atrium is a hub of activity pretty much any time of the day because it hosts dance classes, seminars, demonstrations, and trivia games. It's also right across from the guest services and shore excursions desks. Open to the floor above, the atrium has a 2-story screen. This allows you to see the action no matter where you're seated. While seating is provided, if it's a popular activity, it's going to be standing room only, so be sure to get there early. It's not unusual to see people hanging out on the deck above at the local and singing and laughing along with the crowd down below. Here's where you'll also find the second of Joy's 2 Starbucks. This one offers bakery goods and more packaged drink choices than the Observation Lounge location. If you're craving something a little bit stronger, you'll find the Atrium Bar next door. This is a popular place to grab a cocktail and test your knowledge of the 1990s, sports, or even the music group ABBA during the Atrium's popular trivia games. If you're in the mood for a bit of high-stakes competition with your traveling partners, stop by Joy's Library and Game Room, located just down the hall. Here you'll find a quiet space with a limited selection of games that you can borrow, including Scrabble, checkers, Monopoly, and even decks of cards. There's also a number of cabinets filled with books that guests may check out during specific hours of the day. Internet on the ship is now provided by SpaceX's Starlink, so that guests experience improved capacity, speed, and reliability. But all that connectivity doesn't come cheap. A general Wi-Fi pass will set you back nearly $210 for each device for a 7-day voyage. However, you'll need an upgrade if you plan on streaming movies or listening to music and podcasts. The cost for that? $279.93 per device. But maybe that will give you that push you needed to take a much-needed break from social media. Professional photo sessions can be arranged at the Perspective Studio near the library. Photographers are also roaming around on board in the evenings so you can capture those special moments. Directly across from the Deck 6 atrium is the guest services and shore excursion desks. The Joy staff did a great job of keeping wait times to a minimum, at least the 2 times I had visited guest services. Service was prompt, friendly, and efficient. What's that? You're hungry again? Well, of course you are. You're on a cruise where your sense of portion control and moderation have taken a vacation right along with you. No worries. You're right by the last of Joy's specialty dining options, Q Texas Smokehouse. Originally designed as a supper club when Joy was built, this area now features Texas-style barbecue and live country music and dancing. Choose from beef, pork, or chicken. Or hey, you don't need to fit in those pants anymore. You have plenty of others in the closet. So just go for the Pitmaster platter and try them all. Pescatarians will be pleased to know that the queue also offers shrimp and salmon. We didn't make it to the queue this time around, but we did chat with some passengers who raved about their dinner there. If you have little ones traveling with you, then you're going to get to know Deck 4 very well, because that's where one of the best kids club at sea is located, Splash Academy. Here, young cruisers aged 3 to 12 will find a host of themed activities, including arts and crafts, interactive games, and fun-filled sports, all designed to allow them to explore, play, and make lasting friendships at sea. From exciting treasure hunts to glow parties and pirate parades, each session is designed to spark your child's curiosity and imagination. Kids are grouped by age to ensure interest-appropriate experiences, making sure that everyone can participate and have fun. While Splash Academy is offered at no charge, parents wanting to attend a late-night show or event can opt to allow their children to extend their stay beyond the normal closing hours at an additional hourly cost. With its high-energy activities, themed parties, and special events, kids love to go. Just be prepared. About 2 hours before each session of Splash Academy reopens, your kids will be asking you how much longer, on average about once every 3.5 minutes. Decks 1 through 4 are primarily reserved for cabin crew, but when the ship can't dock at port, you'll be directed to Deck 4 in order to board your tender boat. We did this when we were in Cabo San Lucas and found the process of getting on and off the ship to be very well organized. But we were taking a shore excursion that we had purchased through the cruise line, so we were given priority access to the tenders. When we returned to the ship, we did have a bit of a wait on board our tender, as there wasn't a lot of room on board for people to stand in line to wait to go through security. Even so, we waited an extra 10 minutes at most. But the passengers who took some of the last tenders back to the ship, close to the cutoff time, had to wait a good 45 minutes or so just to reboard because only one security station was open since the ship was getting ready to sail soon. So if you're using a tender process, keep this in mind if you tend to get seasick or just don't have a lot of patience. Your best bet is to return to the ship at least an hour before the last tender cutoff to avoid the crowds. Speaking of crowds, this is a big ship with a capacity of nearly 3,800 passengers. Add in about 1,800 crew members and you're essentially sailing with a small town. And our sailing was completely booked. So in the days ahead, I tried to mentally prepare myself to deal with the throngs of people and miserable elevator lines that I've experienced on some other ships in the past, so I would have patience and show grace. But you know what? All that worrying about overcrowding was for nothing. This sailing never felt crowded to me. Everyone just kind of dispersed into their own little nooks and crannies that appealed to them. And walking around the ship was a breeze. Sure, the buffet was certainly hopping when everyone boarded on the first day while we were waiting for our cabins to be readied, but that's pretty typical on day one of any sailing. As you walk towards your cabin, you'll see some fish swimming on the hallway carpet. This clever little design touch lets passengers know if they're heading forward or aft on the ship. The fish are always positioned so they're swimming towards the bow or the front of the ship. So if you lose your sense of direction, the fish can school you on which way you should go. Or you can simply look at the cabin numbers. If they increase, you're heading towards the back of the ship, the stern. If they decrease, you're joining the fish and heading towards the front of the ship, the bow. And that brings me to another one of Joy's little quirks. Take a look at the cabin numbers. Notice anything? I'll give you a hint. Look at the last digit for each cabin. See any 4s? Nope. That's because 4 is considered an unlucky number in China. You'll find the same numbering system in the theater. There are no seats ending in 4. So, how comfortable are Norwegian Joy's cabins? Here's the one we stayed in. Cabin 14828, a family club balcony suite, which is a cabin category M4. When you hear the word suite, you might think of this. But an M4 category balcony suite cabin has pretty much the same layout as a balcony cabin, just with a slightly larger bathroom and balcony. Instead of having a tube-shaped shower, it has a larger walk-in shower with a sliding door. Our balcony also had a bit more depth to it between the railing and the sliding glass door. Nothing major, but it made sitting in the chairs much more comfortable because you didn't feel as squeezed in. Our 249 square foot cabin featured a floor-to-ceiling glass sliding door that led out to a private balcony area. It had 2 lower beds that were combined into a queen-size bed with 4 pillows and a duvet. Guests preferring an extra firm mattress will likely have no issues sleeping on the Joy. It was much too firm for our comfort, so I consulted with our cabin steward to request a mattress topper as well as better pillows. There were small nightstands on either side of the bed, offering a bit of space for our books and devices. The cabin sofa converted into a bed for a third guest. Our cabin also included a pull-down bed, so the room could accommodate a fourth passenger. The closet was well designed, with one side dedicated to hanging clothes and storing 1 or 2 suitcases, while the other side features shelves and a mini safe. Extra storage could be found under the vanity, along with a mini fridge stocked with bottled water available for purchase. Our cabin was kept spotless throughout our cruise. It was probably the cleanest cabin we've ever had. Our balcony comfortably fit 2 chairs, as well as a small side table. The bathroom felt spacious for a cruise ship, featuring dual sinks, cabinet storage for toiletries, and a large walk-in shower with multiple water nozzles, which I'm sure kids tend to use to make their own version of a water park. Both the water pressure and temperature were excellent. With a convenient flip of a switch located just outside the bathroom door, you can easily notify your cabin steward whether you're ready for your room to be serviced for the day or if you prefer not to be disturbed. This feature adds a nice touch of privacy and convenience during your stay. The room's thermostat is also located in this area. During our cruise, our cabin ran a little warm on some nights, but it wasn't enough where we felt the need to call maintenance. In a previous Destination for Vacation video where I compared pricing for this cabin, I mentioned that it was unusual for a midship location to cost less than those toward the front or the back of the ship. However, once we were in our cabin, it all made sense. Due to the limited open deck space at Spice H2O, many of the ship's late-night parties, like the Glow Dance Party, were held midship on the pool deck. Although our cabin was 2 decks below, we could still hear the thump, thump, thump of the music, even with the door closed. It really wasn't bothersome to us, but for those who are sensitive to noise, it might be worth paying the extra cost for a cabin located towards the front of the ship. So, is Norwegian Joy the right choice for you? Well, if you want a ship that prioritizes a family-friendly environment, then Joy is a great choice. There are plenty of onboard activities that families can enjoy together. Kids love the go-karts, water slide, and aqua park, and the Splash Academy Kids program can't be beat. And Norwegian's family-friendly reputation means there are usually plenty of kids on board, making it easier for your child to connect with new friends during the cruise. Joy also offers a variety of cabin options designed with families in mind. But just because the ship is kid-friendly doesn't mean it's not enjoyable for adults as well. While children's interests are certainly accommodated, Norwegian Joy caters to adult guests. With 24 varieties of beer on tap, an upscale ambiance, a diverse selection of live entertainment options, and plenty of adults-only areas, you can enjoy a refined experience on board. Amenities like Spice H2O, Vibe Beach Club, and an expansive casino offer a variety of choices where adults can relax and unwind. Is having a wide selection of live entertainment options important to you? During the day, you'll find plenty of typical cruise-style games and competitions that are designed to be inclusive for all ages. And in the evenings, there are options to please a wide variety of interests. Norwegian started revamping its entertainment lineup in 2023 and replaced most of its Broadway-style shows, like Kinky Boots, with shorter in-house productions. Guests not wanting to go to the theater could see a comedian, listen to live music, or just dance at Sugarcane Mojito, The Q, or on the poolside deck. Wheel of Fortune and Deal or No Deal were also available as optional entertainment choices for cruisers who were willing to pay an extra charge. If friendly service is important to you, I think you'll enjoy sailing on this ship. All the crew members I encountered were very professional and helpful. My cabin steward was the best I've ever had on a cruise line. The baristas and bartender in the observation lounge also provided friendly service. But as with any ship, there were a few things that missed the mark during my sailing. Let's start with the food. We've always enjoyed the restaurants and buffet on every other Norwegian ship we've sailed on, including when we previously sailed on Joy in 2019. I'm not sure what went wrong this time, but I'm hoping it was a fluke. While the food was presented beautifully, style seemed to be prioritized over substance, particularly the desserts in the complimentary dining areas. I didn't find a single one that I actually liked over the entire voyage. But we were very pleased with most desserts at the specialty dining restaurants. I was really surprised at the number of dishes that were under-seasoned throughout the cruise. For someone who never salts her food at a restaurant, I found myself repeatedly grabbing the salt shaker, even at some of the specialty dining restaurants. I'm not certain whether this was part of a cost-cutting initiative, but the buffet selection was far less varied than on our previous NCL cruises. There was an overemphasis on inexpensive filler foods like pastas, hot dogs, potatoes, and hummus. Even the pizzas, which are normally good at NCL's buffets, were pretty skimpy on the toppings, and a new one wasn't set out until every slice was gone. Instead of a diverse array of choices, the same 5 or 6 dishes continually appeared at multiple stations. In the past, you could select from 3 or 4 different types of pre-made sandwiches, and they varied from day to day. Here, it was one type each day. Take it or leave it. Drinks took a long time to be refilled in every specialty dining restaurant. I'm talking a good 15 minutes. Perhaps another cost-cutting strategy? This cruise was heavily discounted, leading me to wonder if the food selections had been adjusted in accordance with how much had been spent on bookings. I don't know if Norwegian does that, but the thought crossed my mind several times during the cruise as I was trying to think of a reason for why the food experience had changed so much from our previous sailing with NCL. I spent a lot of time here talking about food because, for many people, food is a huge part of the cruising experience. We've always raved about our dining experiences after our Norwegian sailings, so our experiences this time around came as quite a surprise. So, what else do I feel missed the mark during our sailing? Our cabin's bed. The mattress felt like the equivalent of someone going to Home Depot, buying 5 sheets of plywood, duct taping them together, and then slapping a sheet on top. It was that hard and uncomfortable. And somehow, one of the supports of the bed frame was positioned just right so that it dug into the middle of your spine, even through that extra firm mattress. At our request, our cabin steward added a mattress topper and switched out the pillows to something that would actually support your head, which was a slight improvement. But by day 4, I was actually looking forward to the end of the cruise, just so I could sleep through the night. I keep waiting for Norwegian to follow the lead of some of the other cruise lines that have invested in improving the overall onboard sleep experience for guests. A good mattress really doesn't cost that much, and having a comfortable bed when you travel can really make or break a vacation. It's high time for Norwegian to commit to improving the quality and comfort of their beds across the whole fleet of ships. And I don't think passengers should have to reserve something in the haven just to have a mattress and bedding that enable them to sleep through the night. So if you can't tolerate an extra firm mattress, then the Joy may not be the best choice for you. On a more positive note, if you like to have lots of spaces throughout the ship to take in the stunning views, especially in Alaska, Joy is an excellent option. I absolutely loved Deck 15's observation lounge, and the waterfront promenade offers comfortable seating to relax and enjoy the passing scenery. Of course, the views from Joy's thermal spa can't be beat, especially as you unwind on those heated loungers. Ultimately, when it comes to cruising, everyone has different opinions and preferences. And what might be an issue during one sailing may be remedied by the next. Joy is a beautiful ship with plenty of activities to keep you busy, and we found the service to be top-notch. Have you sailed on Norwegian Joy? What do you think about her? Were there any quirks that I missed? If you could, I'd appreciate it if you take a moment to share your experience in the comments section below. Reading viewers' comments is one of my favorite activities once a video is posted to the channel, and I often learn a lot. and please do consider subscribing. I'd love to have you on board. Thanks for watching. I hope you can join me again soon in one of these videos. Until then, here's hoping that your next adventure is just around the corner.